For 12 seasons, a show about a physicist who can't read a room became the most watched sitcom on the planet. And behind every taping, every bazinga, every roommate agreement, every slow burn gut punch hidden inside a comic book joke was a mountain of casting disasters, contract battles, and backstage decisions that make Sheldon's whiteboard equations look simple. Today, 27 verified facts about the Big Bang Theory that'll make you see that apartment hallway in a completely different light. Ranked from neat to wait, the whole show almost didn't exist? And number one is a single decision nobody saw coming that ended everything. Let's get into it. Number 27. Sheldon's t-shirts are color-coded for his mood. Sheldon Cooper's wardrobe looks random. It isn't. The costume department color-coded every shirt. Blue when he's in a good mood, yellow when he's afraid, his Green Lantern shirt when he's on a mission. Once you know this, you can track Sheldon's emotional state every episode without listening to a word he says. Number 26. Howard had a vast collection of alien pins. Every time Howard appears on screen, he's wearing a different alien pin somewhere on his outfit. Not the same few cycling through. He has a massive collection, and a new one shows up in nearly every appearance. It started as a running gag between Simon Helberg and costume designer Mary T. It was never acknowledged on screen. It's just quietly there across 12 years. Number 25. Leonard's glasses have no lenses. Johnny Galecki has perfect vision in real life. On the first day of pilot rehearsals, he told production he wanted Leonard to wear glasses. They agreed. Since prescription lenses would impair someone with 20/20 vision, props built frames with no lenses at all. Galecki wore empty frames as a core character trait for 12 seasons. And yes, he used to poke his finger straight through during outtakes. Number 24. The science bumpers were meticulously curated. Those quick science footage clips between scenes, the production team kept them deliberately fresh throughout the run, rarely repeating the same footage across 279 episodes. While Penny's purse was literally the same bag from season 1 episode 2 through the entire series, the bumpers went in the opposite direction, quietly, obsessively unique. Number 23. Amy Farrah Fowler lives in apartment 314. Amy Farrah Fowler's apartment number is 314, as in 3.14, as in PI. She's a neuroscientist in a show built around science jokes, and her apartment number is a mathematical constant. It takes a writer 10 seconds to approve, and it pays off for a decade. Number 22. A UCLA physics professor vetted every script. When your main characters are among the world's smartest scientists, you can't fake the equations on the whiteboards. The production hired David Saltzberg, a UCLA physics professor, as a full-time consultant. He reviewed every script, kept the formulas accurate, and even left Easter egg equations referencing real physics breakthroughs on the boards. Working scientists have repeatedly praised the show's technical accuracy. That's not an accident. Number 21. The theme song was written in a shower. Chuck Lorre and Bill Prady were at a bare-naked ladies concert when lead singer Ed Robertson improvised a freestyle rap about cosmological theory on the spot. They loved it and asked him to write the theme. The problem? Robertson had written songs for projects before that got rejected at the last minute, so he kept stalling. He hesitated for weeks. When he finally sat down to do it, the creative spark hit in the shower. He wrote it, recorded it that day, and sent it over. That's the version you've been hearing since 2007. Shower acoustics, apparently, are excellent for cosmology. Number 20. The 3 apartment floors are the same set. Sheldon, Leonard, and Penny live on the 4th floor. The guys walk up and down those stairs constantly. What nobody tells you is that all 3 visible floor landings are the exact same set, redecorated between shots to look like different floors. The show saved an enormous amount of money and floor space by recycling a single hallway across 12 seasons of stair gags. Number 19. Belarus ripped off the entire show and CBS couldn't sue. At the height of the show's popularity, a Belarusian TV channel began airing a series called The Theorists, a scene-for-scene remake. Same characters, same scripts, same everything. Chuck Lorre tried to get Warner Brothers' legal team involved. The problem, the production company behind The Theorists was owned and operated by the government of Belarus. You can't exactly sue a sovereign state. The whole thing eventually collapsed when the Belarusian cast quit after realizing what they were part of and audiences turned on it. Plagiarism resolved itself through embarrassment. Number 18. Kate Micucci almost played Amy Farrah Fowler. Before Mayim Bialik became one of the show's most beloved characters, actress Kate Micucci came very close to getting the role of Amy. She made enough of an impression on casting that when she didn't land the part, the producers called her back to play Lucy, Raj's love interest in season 6. She went from nearly being a series regular to a recurring guest because the casting department couldn't let her go. Number 17. Bazinga named 2 actual species. In 2012, an orchid bee species was formally named Euglossa bazinga by researchers in Brazil. A year later, a jellyfish was named Bazinga rieki. A sitcom catchphrase is now permanently embedded in scientific taxonomy. Sheldon Cooper would find this simultaneously deeply satisfying and deeply annoying. Number 16. CBS ordered 3 seasons at a time, twice. Networks typically renew shows 1 or 2 seasons at a time. CBS was so confident in the Big Bang Theory that they ordered 3-season renewals, not once, but twice. That level of institutional certainty about a sitcom is almost unheard of in the modern television landscape. They weren't managing the show season to season. They were planning it like infrastructure. Number 15. Soft Kitty was almost a copyright lawsuit. In 2015, the family of a New Hampshire school teacher named Edith Newland sued CBS. Her 1937 song began "Warm Kitty, Soft Kitty, Little Ball of Fur." The show's version, "Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty, Little Ball of Fur." 2 words swapped. That's the entire difference. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed, but not because of the word swap. It was thrown out on a legal technicality under the Copyright Act of 1909. The daughters of Newland couldn't prove they owned the copyright under the specific rules of that era. One of the most iconic comfort songs in modern sitcom history spent real time in a courtroom. Number 14. The Soyuz capsule was built from junkyard parts. When Howard goes to space in season 5, production designer John Schaffner needed a replica Soyuz capsule. He couldn't find one, so he sourced original NASA photographs, drove to an aerospace junkyard in Los Angeles, and scavenged actual aerospace components to build a functional-looking set piece from scratch. Howard's capsule scenes were shot in a prop built from literal space junk, and it was convincing enough that nobody questioned it. Number 13. Sheldon was originally sexually active. In the unaired 2006 pilot, Sheldon Cooper was a completely different character. Sexually forward, crass, nothing like the asexual, rule-obsessed genius the world came to know. The opening scene was set in a sperm bank. CBS test audiences reacted negatively to almost everything in the pilot except Leonard and Sheldon themselves. The entire supporting cast was scrapped. No Howard, no Raj, no Penny. The female lead, a hard-edged character named Katie, was replaced entirely. And Sheldon was rebuilt from the ground up. The character who became one of the most iconic figures in sitcom history almost never existed. Number 12. The original pilot used Thomas Dolby's "She Blinded Me with Science." Before Ed Robertson wrote the theme in his shower, the unaired pilot opened with Thomas Dolby's 1982 hit. It fit the concept perfectly. CBS passed on the whole pilot, forced a full retool, and the Dolby track went with it. Somewhere there's a version of this show that opens with a synth-pop classic instead of a banjo-driven cosmology countdown. Number 11. Johnny Galecki was originally offered the role of Sheldon. Before Jim Parsons ever auditioned, Chuck Lorre and Bill Prady wanted Johnny Galecki, specifically for Sheldon. Galecki read the material, felt more connected to Leonard, and asked to play that role instead. The producers agreed. Then Kevin Sussman, who would go on to play Stuart, the comic book store owner, came in and auditioned for Sheldon before Parsons walked in, and according to Lorre, made the decision immediately obvious. The actor who became Stuart once auditioned for the lead. The actor who played Leonard was the first choice for both. Number 10. Jim Parsons misheard Chuck Lorre's name at his audition. When Parsons' agent called about the audition, the agent was clearly excited because Chuck Lorre was already behind 2.5 Men, one of the biggest shows on television. The problem? Parsons misheard the name over the phone and thought his agent was talking about Chuck Woolery, the game show host. He walked into the audition for one of the most consequential roles of his generation, thinking he was meeting a guy famous for Love Connection. He got the job anyway. Number 9. Jim Parsons kissed Mayim Bialik while running a fever. During the season 4 taping of Sheldon and Amy's first kiss, a moment 4 years in the making, Parsons was visibly ill, sweating, running a temperature. He pushed through the scene. Bialik reportedly rinsed with mouthwash aggressively before every take. Parsons joked about it afterward, acknowledging she was doing everything she could not to catch what he had. The most romantic moment in Sheldon Cooper's arc was filmed while one half of it was running a fever. Number 8. Kaylee Cuoco and Johnny Galecki secretly dated for 2 years. Penny and Leonard's romance started in the writer's room. The real-life version started on set and stayed hidden for almost 2 years. When they finally decided to tell the cast, they called Jim Parsons on speakerphone. Galecki said he was in love with Cuoco. Parsons, not realizing she was also on the call, immediately responded. Does she know? The relationship ended quietly. They stayed close. Their on-screen chemistry barely flickered. Nobody watching had any idea. Number 7. The show hired Lucasfilm for a single dream sequence. In Season 7, the production needed to recreate Dagobah, the swamp planet from The Empire Strikes Back, for a scene where Sheldon dreams of Professor Proton as a Yoda figure. Rather than approximate it, they reached out directly to Lucasfilm, who provided CGI assistance to accurately recreate the environment. A network sitcom got Lucasfilm to build a digital Star Wars location for a dream sequence. George Lucas didn't come back for this. The swamp did. Number 6. The 3 stars took pay cuts so their co-stars could earn more. By Season 8, Parsons, Galecki, and Cuoco were each making $1 million per episode. In the final seasons, all 3 voluntarily took cuts to $900,000 per episode, so that Mayim Bialik and Melissa Rauch could receive significant raises, reportedly up to $500,000, from the $175,000 to $200,000 they had been earning. 3 of the highest paid actors on television deliberately made less money so their co-stars could make more. It doesn't happen often. It happened here. Number 5. Jim Parsons became the highest paid actor on television. In 2018, Forbes named Jim Parsons the highest paid actor on American television, $27.5 million in a single year. He started the show at $60,000 per episode. By the end, he was making $1 million per episode, plus a reported $1.5 million per season narrating young Sheldon. The full arc, $60,000 to $27.5 million annually, is one of the most dramatic salary trajectories in the history of the medium. Number 4. Young Sheldon was Jim Parsons' idea. Everyone assumes the Young Sheldon spinoff came from the network or from Chuck Lorre looking to extend a franchise. It didn't. The original concept came from Parsons himself. He pitched the prequel idea and passed it to the producers to develop. The show that kept the Big Bang Theory universe alive after 2019, that ran for 7 seasons and gave the franchise a second life, was Parsons' pitch. The same person who ended the original show handed the producers its successor. Number 3. Zoe Perry plays Sheldon's mom on Young Sheldon, Laurie Metcalf's real-life daughter. Mary Cooper, Sheldon's deeply religious Texan mother, is played by Laurie Metcalf on The Big Bang Theory. The younger version of the same character, on Young Sheldon, is played by Zoe Perry, Laurie Metcalf's actual daughter in real life. The same woman is portrayed across 2 timelines by a real-life mother and daughter. It's either the most elegant piece of casting logic in television history or the most unsettling, depending on how long you sit with it. Number 2. Chuck Lorre found out. Parsons was leaving the same day as everyone else. When Jim Parsons decided he was done, he told the writers at the start of the table, read for season 12. The same day and essentially the same moment as his castmates, Laurie's own account. Parsons came in and just said it. Laurie responded, "Oh, okay, well, this is kind of a big conversation. A big conversation that impacts hundreds of people." Galecki said he was blindsided. Cuoco said she was in shock, barely able to make eye contact during the run-through. And because the show's creators had always maintained it couldn't continue without the full cast intact. All for one, one for all. The announcement that Parsons was leaving was also the announcement that The Big Bang Theory was over. Number 1. Jim Parsons ended the show because he was thinking about his own mortality. It wasn't burnout, it wasn't a better offer, it wasn't drama. Parsons explained it in deeply personal terms. His dog of 14 years was nearing the end of his life. A foot injury had nearly pulled him from a Broadway production he cared about. And then he did the math. He would be 46 when season 12 ended. His father died at 52. Parsons told Chuck Lorre directly, "If you told me that like my father I had 6 years left to live, I think there are other things I need to try and do." He wasn't walking away from the show. He was walking toward whatever came next while there was still time to do it. And that single quiet calculation in Chuck Lorre's office ended 12 seasons, 279 episodes, and one of the most watched sitcoms in television history. The show made billions. Scientists named species after its catchphrases. Belarus tried to steal the whole thing. The theme song was written in a shower. The pilot was an entirely different show with an entirely different Sheldon. And it ended because one man did the math on his own mortality and decided he had other things left to do, which, when you think about it, is the most human reason a television show has ever ended. So there you have it. 27 facts about the Big Bang Theory that go a lot deeper than the roommate agreement. If this one landed, hit that like button and subscribe. Next week, I'm going back to the 2000s for something completely different, and trust me, the backstory is messier than anything that ended up on screen. Until then, this is Cool Whip Lab. The best shows are always stranger behind the camera than in front of it.